I'm Evelyn Risley for TechCrunch TV, and joining us today is Loic Meur. He's the founder of Seesmic, and he's giving us a first look at Desktop 2, his new product for Seesmic, and its 40 or so plugins. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Evelyn, for having me.
So Seesmic is known as somewhat of a portal for a lot of your major social media networks like Foursquare, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. But now you guys are trying to go beyond that, right? You guys are trying to go beyond the typical social graph.
So it's something entirely new. There is nothing like this on the market. Basically, anyone can integrate now into Seesmic without even talking to us.
Yeah.
And that's the news. So at platform.seesmic.com, you can go and download, get an SDK, where you can create your own services, your own plugin into Seesmic. And we're launching tonight in a version, which is a release with 40 plugins. And that's just the beginning. So we're thrilled, of course, to have so many at launch.
Yeah, and the plugins are pretty diverse. I mean, it's not just about talking to your friends. It's, you know, something like Zappos and being able to purchase things off Seesmic or even Flickr and looking at photos, right?
Yeah, it's so text search, for example. You can, I don't know if we can show this, but if you go on Seesmic Desktop now, see the choice on the right of all the search engines. So you can search Flickr, you can search OneRiot, you can search YouTube, you can search Topsy, you can search Facebook. Okay. So you know it's very, very diverse. And here I have a column with Facebook search on it, as you can see. Okay,
so give us kind of a bottom-up walkthrough for people who are even maybe just not aware of what Seesmic is.
Yep.
So kind of give us a full tour of the new iteration.
So Seesmic aggregates into one single application all your popular social networks and more, because we don't even know what developers are going to build with it. So it helps you do a lot of different things, such as building your brand. Building your own personal brand is important. So many people use it to share and on social networks. So from the beginning, the first thing which is very different is this, is we have here a plugin architecture for the end user now, who can see different services and who will see them self-update. So we give to our partners a marketplace, marketplace.seesmic.com, where they can create their plugin, they can register it there. We don't do any control. It's going to be entirely open.
And that's launching this evening,
launching
right?
today, yes, absolutely.
And so far, the marketplace is going to be free, but eventually you're going to potentially roll out fees or so, depending on whatever the developer plugin wants.
We want to be a platform where developers can also make money with us, possibly. And so yes, we will have a free offering right now. It's all free, but next year, beginning of next year, we will start rolling out an option for developers to be able to charge. They're also welcome to send a plugin which will only work on premium services if they like. It's really up to them. We don't control anything they do. We will just be careful on any evil plugin. If that happens, then we have a way to deactivate a plugin. But the rest is really entirely open.
So in other words, Marketplace is a fancy name for plugin store, your app store version.
Yeah, we can call it whatever you like. But that's how we chose Marketplace. There are a number of ways, but Market for us gives an idea that you will be paying one day for some plugins.
Gotcha.
And so you can see that's what the users will see first is all of those different plugins. I don't even have them all loaded right now.
But there will be 40 or so by the end of the day, right?
And then when you are into the application, what you can do is consume information. So read information from, let me close this one now. So of course you can open Twitter, and this is by the way very cutting edge on Twitter itself, because this is streaming by default. You can see it doesn't have to load, it comes real time, entirely real time. Then you can add, so let me add the basic.
So this is just streaming, right?
Yes.
There's no delay.
Exactly. It's instantaneous, and this is the new streaming API from Twitter. Then we have Facebook next to it, right there as a column. Then we have Foursquare. You can have LinkedIn. And I guess I have a connection issue here. Interesting.
Yeah, there it is. Our connection in the studio, which is kind of this box at the end of the office,
that might be
is pretty poor in general.
Well, that might be the reason. But so you can see, so here is Twitter and Foursquare, and so as we have plugins that we create and maintain officially, if I may say so, ourselves, because we consider them basic. So there are Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Buzz and Foursquare. And then we are launching with developers who have built MySpace, who have built very unusual services as well, such as Google Reader.
Yeah.
And then, so it helps you read the information. It also helps you share, of course, on all of those.
Gotcha.
So it's really a powerhouse of social networking. Let me show you one, Google Reader, if you like, which I'm especially very addicted myself to. So this has been created, see, it's a good example by a partner, Tequila Rapido, which is a French developer with like 50 developers in south of France, in Nice.
Okay.
We
So
should
not actually from Google, but from a third-party developer.
They just love Google Reader and they wanted it as an app. So here, look at what you can do here. You can see, I can now open a TechCrunch RSS column coming from Google Reader. So this is all my feed. This is TechCrunch now. So I can read TechCrunch from there. And then I can go to my subscriptions. And if I want, I can now browse and see all my Google Reader subscriptions. So let's say I want to follow Chris Pirillo's blog. Now I have a column with Chris Pirillo.
And if you wanted to share that, how does that work?
So you can share directly. Any Google Reader feature is supported, so you can share by pressing here. You can add a star, you can tag it, but you can also share it straight into Seesmic Desktop. See, there is here a button, Share on Seesmic. If I do this, it will fill up the composer with the title and the link directly to the article.
And then you can just highlight which button you want.
Exactly. So let's say I want this to go to Facebook, but my Facebook page, right? So here I can select my Facebook page, and then I can add it to Google Buzz. I can add it to here even Chatter, the Salesforce plugin if you have it, which will be available in a few weeks, and so on. And now I'm sharing from Google Reader directly there. So that's this was never done before. This is now an RSS reader into a social software app. So that's one example. Now let's say you are a fan of YouTube. Now I can also open a YouTube column with all my subscriptions. I can have my all the YouTube feeds. So the most popular, the most recent, the most responded. So you can have that too.
And this is also from a third-party developer.
Yeah, this is also from Tequila.
Okay.
There are so we have, again, we probably have 20 very active developers right now building plugins. They build like 5 of them. So I just wanted to start with them. And so if you see the, the different channels, so let me show you the TechCrunch channel on YouTube. Again, this is YouTube now. So now I'm going into the YouTube channel.
Gotcha. Yeah,
and I can see your videos. And I can open them right there within the app. So now you see I'm opening this video with Marissa Meyer, which is from today, right?
There we go. Yeah.
And it's playing right in the app. And I think this is also very cool. So you can use it as a YouTube desktop now.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what is it? What's in it for the developers, right? The people who are making these applications for you, who are not even affiliated with YouTube. How do they monetize this platform? I mean, eventually they're going to be able to sell their plugins, right?
Well, they're welcome. Again, they're welcome to send, to create a plugin which would only be available by buying it from them. They can do that. They can also make it that you can only log in if it's a premium feature on their service. So there will be, for example, a FormSpring plugin done by a developer. It could totally decide it's only paying and build in some payment functions in there. It's really a beginning, and we will help that ourselves pretty much on a, as you said, Android market on our App Store type of way to present things, so you can browse to free plugins and paid plugins.
Now, one of the major plugins that you had some press around recently was your integration with Salesforce and their Chatter plugin, right? So let's talk about that. I mean, how important is the enterprise side? Because that's something that Seesmic hasn't really dabbled in the past. Do you see that as becoming folded more into your ecosystem?
Yeah, it's also a first. Like our platform is a first. I think such a deep integration with enterprise is also a first in the space, because most of our apps are targeted at end consumers, and it's obvious to us that we have seen so many of our users just being from business, so small businesses, medium size, or even enterprise. As I said, a lot of people monitoring their brands. So I've known Mark Benioff for a while, the CEO of Salesforce, and we're good friends, and we did all of this, which we demoed yesterday, the integration, the plugin. It's not ready yet, but it's almost ready to go, at least as a plugin, in a few weeks.
So Seesmic is going into B2B. You're going even into the retail sector and Google Reader and all these other different portals, right? So what do you think that means for the future of Seesmic? What is Seesmic now compared to what it was, which is more of a straight platform for the major social media networks? So what do you envision as the business model for Seesmic?
We will have a number of them. But the first one, we'll have some advertising in all our apps. Again, I'm showing here the desktop, but we have desktop, web, iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Phone 7. So advertising will be one. And then we'll have some premium features, which will be on a monthly basis, like a pro account, and that's coming. We're working on it with more advanced features, no advertising. But we really want to keep it free for everybody. We have about 1 million registered users, so we want them to keep enjoying the apps. And then we will have more deep integrations, which is more like enterprise. So if you look at this, and this is the beginning of it with Salesforce. If you look at this it's more like a collaboration. It is more integration with enterprise tools such as Salesforce, where basically enterprise are used to buy licenses, to buy per seat. So we will have different versions for them, which the end consumers don't need. And you should see the excitement yesterday in London. It was amazing. 3,000 customers, and in the room you could see them downloading Seesmic on their mobile just because they wanted the chatter integration, which is not there yet. But the excitement was there, and they're ready to pay for that. So I think we'll be in a very good position to being the first to do that integration with them.
The idea of monetization, though, was probably the biggest challenge to something like this. You guys are very light on ads, and the marketplace will probably not really get going for several months or till next year. So are you guys profitable yet? And where do you see most of your revenues coming from?
Well, no, we're not profitable yet.
Yeah.
We're lucky enough that we raised a significant round of funding, $12 million from the founders of Skype or the founder of eBay, Pierre Omidyar. And so you need a good product first, right? And that's the way we see it. We want our apps to be really good before we start charging. And again, most of it will be free for the end consumers. And we think the major source of revenue will come from business. As I just said, but there is a lot of interest around Seesmic, and we have several investors or industrial partners who are really interested in investing. So should we need that, I'm really not worried at all. But right now we're fine. We have good runway, and we have a growing user base, and we actually help also some partners who don't have skills to create the plugins. So if they need, we help them as well. That's another source of revenue. So I'm really not worried at all.